The Pueri Cantores Festival is coming to Houston in a couple of weeks. We'll learn what it is, who's involved, and how it took one local Catholic school choir all the way to Rome to sing in one of the major basilicas and celebrate Mass with Pope Francis at St. Peter's. Welcome to Around the Archdiocese.
Sharing information, insights, and stories about our Catholic faith from across the Archdiocese of Galveston-Houston, you're listening to Around the Archdiocese. Here's your host, Sean O'Driscoll.
Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us for another episode. The 2024 Pueri Cantores Houston Youth Choral Festival will be taking place on Saturday, March 2nd at the Co-Cathedral of the Sacred Heart in downtown Houston. To tell us more about Pueri Cantores, which is the international student choral organization of the Catholic Church, we're first going to be speaking with Dr. Dan Girardot, an associate director in the Office of Worship, to hear about the organization itself and about his experiences sharing the gift of music with young people. After that, we're going to jump into an interview I did with Mrs. Lizzie Cook from St. Edward Catholic School in Spring, Texas, as she shares with us some of the stories from the amazing trip that some of the members of the St. Edward Catholic School Choir were able to take at the end of last year as they participated in the Pueri Cantores Rome Congress, which takes place every 5 years. If you want to learn more about the American Federation of Pueri Cantores, you can find all the details on their website at pcchoirs.org, and we'll make sure to include that link in the show notes for this episode. So, without further ado, let's start the show. Dr. Dan Girardot, welcome back. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited about what's coming up.
So, the Pueri Cantores Festival. When is it? What is it? I mean, we're talking about it today, but I don't think most people have ever even heard of Pueri Cantores.
Okay. Well, you know what Pueri means. Child, children, cantores, singing. And there's an international Pueri Cantores Federation, which is all across the world and connected to Rome. And our American Federation of Pueri Cantores is sponsoring this coming up festival. And we have one every year. I've been involved with Pueri Cantores for about 20 years in my former work as a music minister and working with the Pueri Cantores General National Office. Some of the people over the years have been just some of the finest musicians in the church, in the American church. And Pueri Cantores is the student choral organization of the Catholic Church. It's
the official organization.
The official organization. And what they say on their website is that it's bringing together youth choirs throughout the United States to sing the peace of God. And their focus is that there's 32 federations across the world, and there's over 70,000 singers worldwide. And the mission is to evangelize and catechize choristers, children and youth, through the medium of sacred music, aiding them in growing in their faith and rooting them ever deeper in the church. I mean, what's not to like about that? I mean, it's something that I have seen our kids. I've brought kids, children and youth to this organization for over 20 years in my former ministry. And I saw, as soon as the children and youth walk in and see 60, 100, 150, even sometimes over 200 other youth and children singing together, it resets their mind. They see, oh, this is not just something I do in my church, or just something that, my parish does. No, it's worldwide, and they see young people from all over the region of Texas, and it's eye-opening, and it's exciting, and they get to make music like they have never made before with that large group, and they sound marvelous, and they think, oh, wow, I got to come back. And so after several years, some of our youth were so inspired, they went on to get music degrees, to become choir directors themselves, to go into opera, into but all stay connected to the church and help with music ministry in the church as adults now. To see that is beautiful.
So it's not just an opportunity for them to sing in a choir, but it's really a chance for them to participate more fully in the liturgy, to gain a deeper understanding of offering their gifts back to the Father, at the service of the community, at the service of the liturgy. For you, what's been your biggest joy in working with Pueri Cantores, or I guess in general, working with young people when it comes to music and choirs and singing?
My biggest joy is to experience children unlock something that's inside of them that is dormant until they participate in singing God's care, love, liturgy. And when they sing for the congregation and with the congregation in their parish, it has an effect on them over the years to say, you matter, but more importantly, your simple voice touches people in a way that very few other things do. Children's voices in liturgy can strike the hearts of people and help them grow closer to the Lord, no matter how difficult their life is, no matter how hardened they become, or whatever their attitudes are. Children's voices break through. And for a child to see the effect, because parents and parishioners come up to children and say, thank you for your ministry. Thank you for doing this. That's not really the point. The point really is they're getting this rehearsal every time they sing, that they're giving their praise to God. Maybe it's not an operatic praise, but that's not the point. It is they sing simply to God a song of praise. And when they can do that, they have a gift that they're giving to God and a prayer of thanksgiving for everything they've been given, and they give a gift to the people of God that can understand something new because of their song. So them being a minister in a way that you can't have any other effect than like the singing of a child. When they do their ministry and they begin to see the effect on others and they hear about it, they realize how important it is and that they are important. So moms and dads, when you think about your child and you think about yourself, I'm going to say this, one of the deepest sadnesses I have is the adults. I say, hey, let's all sing. I know I teach a lot of adults, and we sometimes sing a song of thanksgiving sometimes. And I say, if you can't sing well, just sing louder, because everybody else will, try to overcome your voice. But I ask people to raise their hand who sings well, and then I ask them to raise their hand who does not sing well. And so many people have told me that Mrs. Schmatz in the third grade told me to just mouth the words because you can't hold the tune. And so from then on, all these adults say, I've never really felt I had a voice, but everyone does. And especially children, if you feel like your child doesn't hold a tune, or follow very well, it's just a muscle memory, brain, neurological connection that the more you do it, the better you get.
So it is actually something that you can learn
exactly.
and develop
exactly.
and grow in.
It's physical. It's like, okay, most normal kids can run. And if I can't run, maybe I can learn how to run. Maybe kids can't swim. They just learn the muscle memory. Maybe kids can't sing. They learn the muscle memory and they learn how to breathe right and how to say the words correctly. It's literally a science. It's a physical science, how to teach your body a certain thing to do. Your brain connects to your voice, connects to your breath. It's a whole physical thing, which actually is more of an opportunity for people to connect both sides of their brain, the left and the right, the analytical and the aesthetic, because what happens is when you do that, you create more neural networks and you get smarter, literally. They say people who sing and learn music and sing all the way through high school have 150 points higher on SATs.
Wow.
And that's the Music Educators National Conference scientific research. So this is not just, let's have fun singing or let's sing to God. No, This is, let's make a person whole. And when a child sings, they begin to become more whole, holistic, both sides of the brain, and it just changes who you are. Some kids, they're like always kind of having craziness in the, maybe they're always acting out. Maybe they're the class clown because they're bored or whatever. When they begin to sing, that becomes, for many kids who are like that, it becomes their center point, their connection. It becomes their joy. And wow, to give that to a child who's struggling everywhere else, that could be the one hope that they have. They love that.
And to have the opportunity, I think, with our young people to really focus not just on the secular, popular music that you hear on the radio, but to connect them to actually beautiful works of art, no matter how complex they may be, to start instilling in them that understanding of, beauty, truth, goodness, get them an understanding of that at such a young age, really something that's going to carry on with them for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely. And the key here is that Pueri Cantores and all children's choirs, whether the parish is involved with Pueri Cantores or not, that your children's choir and your parish school choirs are connecting them to their faith and helping them learn faith through choir. I remember moms and dads were coming up to me often and they would say, my kids have learned more about their faith through choir than, and I hate to say this, but sometimes through their religious ed classes, because it's kind of more dialectic. And here they're learning through you all what it means when they sing Holy, Holy, what it means when they sing When We Eat This Bread, what it means when we're singing this psalm in this season, Be With Me, Lord, When I Am in Trouble. For a lot of kids, that's a really good song. Be with me, Lord, I pray. So it really connects them with their faith and helps them to express their faith and to see that their ministry is making a difference to other people. And it gives them such confidence. To have a child learn how to sing in front of other people is tremendous to their self-confidence. And I've often taught children how to cantor, maybe with a partner, and lead singing with the congregation. And it is powerful to have a young person, whether it's a older grade school child that's really, confident. And I see it in parishes. Their parishes are doing this with their youth choirs and children's choirs. I mean, an example, St. Helens, their school choir comes at 9:00 Mass once a month, and one of their young people will cantor. And it's just fantastic to see their confidence and their beauty of sound and how they really connect to the words, and it becomes a prayer for them, and then it becomes my prayer that I can enter into with them in a beautiful way. So what better to teach our children? And Pueri Cantores, that's their basic focus, is let's help children and youth. It's just not just young kids. It's second grade all the way up to 12th grade. And then we have some older students, like college age, will come back and help support those kids.
So we have the Houston Regional Festival coming up on Saturday, March 2nd.
Yes.
And we have student choirs and student singers from across the Archdiocese who are going to be gathering for this event.
And Texas.
And in fact, all of Texas.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Dallas, Tyler. Yeah, there's all over.
So it's going to be this beautiful gathering of all these young voices. And if I understand correctly, they're going to actually end singing at the 5 p.m. liturgy that evening.
That's right.
With the Cardinal.
At the Co-Cathedral.
At the Co-Cathedral, up in the choir loft. Going to be beautiful.
Actually, they are down in the front.
Oh, they're down in the front.
Yeah, because it's such a large group, they don't fit in the choir loft.
That's even more beautiful.
So in the front, they're in the front pews, and then they will sing from there. But then beforehand, if you come early enough, like it's at 5 o'clock, and so if you come at like 20 till, 4 or 5 choirs from the choir loft will sing prelude music, and so I think we talked about maybe St. Edward's. She might be singing. Their choir might be singing a song that they sang in Rome with the Pueri Cantores Festival in Rome, and that's a whole nother thing. I'm sure we'll
be talking with Lizzie right after I speak with you about that.
Yeah. So we have some really great choirs in in the Archdiocese of Galveston-Houston, so many great directors. Like, for instance, Bridget Wenck is someone who I got to know through Pueri Cantores much better because she and I always brought choirs. And I was coming from Austin. She was really strong with her choirs here in Houston at Christ the Redeemer. And other parishes also really strong. Our Lady of Walsingham, the Ordinariate parish, has been very, very faithful and really strong with their group. St. Edward's, St. Teresa's. I can name many others, but it's really beautiful to see how this experience of Pueri Cantores Festival Chorus has helped them recruit. I mean, it's helped them gather the kids together and have them given an opportunity to have an experience that's like nothing else. I've done choral festivals with dioceses in the past and gone in and they've come together, and children's choirs come together and they learn something and then they sing at a mass, and it's so uplifting and it's so exciting. And they get to get the directors get to experience a new director. That's the other thing. They bring an excellent conductor coming in, and that conductor will help the directors see new ways of conducting. And those interaction with the conductor during the day, during the festival day. So they start in the morning at 11 and they go all the way through the afternoon to prepare. They've already learned their music, but now we bring them together, and then they sing at the Mass with the Cardinal. And it's really exciting. It's just very fun for them, but also uplifting for anybody who comes.
If a parish or, say, a parent or even a music director wasn't aware of Pueri Cantores before, how can they find out more information? How can they say, okay, I want to get my students involved with this for next year's festival?
Yes.
Where do they start?
One of the great things about Pueri Cantores is, and I have my trusty little tiny computer in my hand. They call it an iPhone. But I'm on the Pueri Cantores website, and the website is PCC Choirs. PC Choirs, Pueri Cantores Choirs.org. And when you go there, it gives who they are, what they do. But then it talks about all the festivals across the country. And it lists the repertoire of the music that they are doing at each place. And they even have most of their music, I'd say all but maybe 3 or 4 pieces, are public domain or offered free for the choirs. And you can simply download them from the website. Not only that, if you're a choir director or just an interested parent, you can find out the different places that are interested in doing that kind of thing throughout the Archdiocese or throughout Texas. And what's really exciting is they have other teaching videos on the Pueri Cantores website. So, in fact, in the pandemic, they had lots of really wonderful videos that talk about how to sing better, how to bring your choirs together. For students, they had things that are teaching videos how to learn a song. And it's a great resource for music education for the young people in the Catholic Church. It's just a beautiful source of uplifting students who want to do music to focus their ministry on singing for God and singing for the liturgy, the source and summit of our Christian life. How much more powerful can a ministry be than to sing and beautifully and to sing for God and the people of God to bring us into the summit and font of our Christian life?
It's so beautiful. You hear the passion coming through as you speak about Pueri Cantores. What is it in your experience with this organization that's just sort of enraptured you with all this?
That's a great question. First of all, in my experience of ministry, I can't imagine doing ministry without participating with children and inviting children into ministry in some way. We are not just teaching children. They're not passive. Some people say our children are the future of the church. They are the church now. They are the church now. And look at Jesus. Look at, Jesus says, let the children come to me. Look at the children. They don't worry. They don't worry about where their clothes come from, where the next food is going to come from. They completely trust in the parents, but they're trusting like we should trust in God. So having ministry to children has been a critical and uplifting part of my whole ministry for my whole life. But more importantly, to help children grow in their faith, I find that it's really important that each adult that works with children has to really pay attention to each child and find out about that child, understand what makes them tick or what challenges they have. Let them know that somebody's thinking about them, somebody cares for them, and somebody's interested in them, and somebody wants to know what's going on with them. And they begin to have a relationship with someone other than their parents or their uncle or their aunt, but someone who represents the church. And to have that gift of love and care from someone in the church is crucial to young people feeling that they belong in the church. They would need that feeling of belonging. And so Pueri Cantores, in my experience, has enlivened me to help me learn more about how to do that best with children in choirs, but children in every aspect. I mean, I've taught children in every way, in school and in not just choirs, but in all kinds of different settings of education, formation, and youth especially. They can, if they find someone that gives them a little meaning and pay attention to them, they're desperate for that, to have someone to really connect. And if we can invite them to sing, so many of our young people who are youth think, oh, I can't sing. That's the first thing comes out of their mouth. I can't sing. And our society has given us highly developed digital recordings that are 15, 16, 20 times over and over that people record until they get it perfect. Well, nobody's like that. And they hear that and they think that's how they have to be. So I continue to say, no, everyone who has a speaking voice has a singing voice. And you can sing. And I teach people how to sing along with other people, but everyone can sing by themselves. The challenge is singing at the same pitch as somebody else. So when somebody says, oh, I can't sing, and somebody says, oh, he's tone deaf. Well, only 1.00 or 0.11% or something like that of people are tone deaf, really. It's just they haven't learned the muscle memory. So the key to, I think, having a young person learn how to sing or be a singer is to work with them, have them sing, and then I match their pitch. And once they hear what it feels like to match somebody else's pitch sonically, physically, acoustically, their brain goes, oh, that's what it's like. And you do that over and over, and pretty soon they know what it feels like. And then they can start following someone else. But I follow them first. That's a little technique I learned from Pueri Cantores. And Pueri Cantores has a tremendous ability of help. It has, over the years, helped me to see how the power of understanding the harmony, the details of pitch, intonation, vocal exercises, ways to bring voices together, and also even the understanding the tradition of the church. So they're very good at bringing in, more contemporary things, but mostly they really look back at the sacred tradition of the church and connect traditional understanding of some of the texts of our Latin texts and that have been transformed into English text, or even stay the Latin text, tantum ergo. And that's going to be one of the pieces that we do at the Pueri Cantores in March. Several other beautiful things, Sanctus, Agnus Dei, Kyrie, the Greek, all of these they begin to understand a new language and understand the basic, deep tradition of our church that's been here for 2,000 years. And so Pueri Cantores has a sense of, let's help the directors. And if we help the directors to teach the parents, then the parents can invite the children in. And sometimes the children bring the parents, and we teach the parents to the children too. So it all is a wonderful cycle. But I have felt so tremendously supported by Pueri Cantores over the years, and I've seen how the music itself can be like a portal and a catalyst for deeper prayer, a catalyst and a portal for learning new things and accomplishing those things. And for a young person to say, I did this. I can do this now. I couldn't do this last year. I can do this now. Wow. Let's celebrate that. So it's a tremendous opportunity for us to help young people have a sense of learning something tremendous that they will never forget their whole life through. This is like, hey, learn tennis. You can play it till you're old, or golf. Well, learn singing. You will never stop. You will never stop. And you can sing lullabies to your children when you grow up. And the thing that helps grow a potential of being able to be a good musician as a child, from 1 to 7, you've got 7 years, and you can grow the potential of a child's musical abilities by the parents singing to the children. That's it. Do I have to have a good voice to sing to my children? No. You just sing to your kids, whatever you want to sing. Sing something, anything to your children. Jesus loves me, this I know. Or you could even sing Ave Maria, if you know that. You can sing whatever comes to your mind. You can sing to your children. You can even sing fun songs like, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine, or I love you, a bushel and a peck and a hug around the neck. There's just one, you just sing to your children and it becomes a part of their DNA. And then there's a connection with you and even your adult child. Always will remember that. Always. I remember my dad singing to me every night before we said prayers. He would sing at least 5 or 6 fun little kid songs. It was a powerful memory. And we can always reach back and have these experiences say to us, I'm loved. Just like God loves me. I'm cared for. And God loves me more than I could imagine. And this reminds me of that love. And so what do? I praise God. And so our teaching of our children is how to praise God. And St. Augustine, of course, said, those who sing, pray twice. He also said, music is for one who loves. And so this Pueri Cantores focus on teaching young people how to sing for the Lord in church, the great treasures of the church, and other beautiful things. It is a powerful organization that can change the face of the world, I believe.
So we are here now with Mrs. Lizzie Cook from St. Edward Catholic School. Lizzie, what is your actual title there at the school?
Officially, I am the fine arts teacher and Latin teacher. This year I'm teaching kinder through 5th grade, but I have taught all the way up to 8th grade. And then I'm the choir director for a choir that meets after school.
So obviously, we're talking about youth choirs.
Yes.
And the school choir, how large is it at St. Edward?
This year, I currently have 38 students in my choir. And we've grown. The first year we had it, I started with 15 members, and that was 3rd through 8th grade. But that first year, I was only teaching up to 4th grade, so I didn't have that connection built yet with those middle schoolers. So we started small in an effort to help build the program. We did extend it down to 2nd grade that year, and then that got me up to 30 students.
Wow.
Which was awesome. So 30 2nd through 4th graders. And then the following year, we did keep it the 3rd and up. I started to build more of a relationship with the middle schoolers because I started teaching their class that year, fine arts for 6th or 8th grade. So I got to know some of them, build a rapport with them. And we stuck with our 30. We figured that was a nice, happy number, not too overwhelming, but it was 3rd through 8th grade. And then this year, we kept the 3rd through 8th grade. But then at the beginning of the year, I started with 46 students.
Wow. Wow.
And it was awesome. We've had to dwindle down a little due to students moving or realizing, especially with our middle schoolers, they realized how demanding schedules can be with doing sports and music and studies. And so we did have to lose a few. But I love them, still support them, and I'm grateful that they're prioritizing their studies over the extracurriculars too. So
absolutely.
But I still have 38 strong, and it's awesome.
Now, how often do they get to either perform or assist with the liturgy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I use that perform word loosely because I don't want my students to feel, because we serve at Sunday masses. We'll serve at special occasion masses during school. 8th grade graduation ceremonies, things like that, liturgically. And I don't want them to have the mindset that it's a performance because we are there to serve. So I loosely use the word perform, but then we do perform big holiday events. We have our big Christmas show. We have a big spring show. We get to go do, we've participated the past couple of years with the Channel 13 Share Your Holiday Food Drive. The kids get excited for that one because it's Christmas, but they also get to miss some school for that. So that's always a big fun performance. And then we do a lot of other extra things like performing at Forsati High School at Christmas time. We've done sporting events where we sing the national anthem, or have middle school nights at the high schools. And then, of course, we have the upcoming festival and mass at the cathedral with Pueri Cantores, which we're really excited. I have 17 students participating in that this year.
Oh, that's great.
Last year I had 7. So we really are building our rapport. We're really building a wonderful program and excitement with the kiddos. They get really excited. And then, of course, the big trip that we just came from in Rome. That was awesome.
So yes, let's get into that amazing trip. You were able to take members of the St. Edward Catholic School Choir and their families to the Rome Congress, the Pueri Cantores Rome Congress, which takes place once every 5 years at the Vatican. Tell me a little more about this trip.
Yes, so we had a good group of our community, about 52 members of our school community. 13 of them were some of my choir members. We had been planning throughout the year. We heard about this last year, so we had about a year's worth of planning and figuring it out. It was a first experience for us, for me. So there was a lot of just wait and see, but we were doing fundraising, all preparing for it, and then preparing the music. And that was interesting too, because they were like, you're not going to sing all of this, but here's this massive book of music that you should learn. And, but we were preparing all this music in a lot of different languages and building this excitement, this camaraderie, this fellowship, just naturally built. And we had students from as young as first grade. Now the choir members were 4th grade and up. But we had students as young as first grade and all the way up to, we had one of our former students who's now in 9th grade at Forsati. He and his dad joined us. So we had a nice array of students, family members, parents, grandparents, siblings traveling with us. And we had this amazing community just develop within ourselves, and kids were hanging out with kids. This is one thing I love about our school, generally speaking, is there's a nice friendship and fellowship inner grade wise. They don't stick with their grade as far as friends are concerned. They know everybody. It's awesome. And we were doing so much more than just music. We got to tour ancient Rome. We got to tour different areas of Rome and Vatican together in our groups, and these kids were going with this family, and this family was going with these kids. And so it was a lot of fun. And then, of course, when we had all the music stuff, all the music events going on, I was taking all the students. Parents would go sit in like the congregation or audience areas, wherever we were. And so the kids got to be a little more independent in that sense too. And so they had this special feeling and like, oh my goodness, there's the Pope,
That's right. All the participants in the Rome Congress actually had
an
a
audience.
Special audience with the Holy Father.
Yes, it was awesome. And ironically speaking, because he went out into the audience area, because because it wasn't, when we had the audience, it wasn't mass. And so he went out and he actually went. We had one of our first graders actually shook his hand. The choir members didn't get to actually see him right up close in person because we were amidst all these other students, and we were right in the middle of all these kids. I was like, "Don't go anywhere; you're going to get run over, or I'll lose you." But our families apparently were sitting close to an aisle, and so we have some great pictures of him shaking hands with some of our students and parents. So I think they got a chance to really enjoy that too.
But even just whether they got to shake his hand or not, to be physically in the room.
Oh yeah,
with the Holy Father.
We were right up front.
Experience.
We were right up front, so we got to see him, and because they had the big teleprompters or the big screens, whatever. They had these big screens, so if people were sitting further back, they could see him. We were closer to him there. The cameras didn't pick it, so it was awesome getting to be. And we had a lot of kids. A lot of our students were really excited. Oh my gosh, there he is! I'm walking out, and he's here.
Now, the students all got to sing at a couple different liturgies, right?
Yes. So we sang a mass with two other American schools, English-speaking. Actually, I think one choir might have been from Mexico, if I remember that correctly. But we sang with two other schools, whereas all these other schools dispersed, and they sang masses all over. And there were so many more groups that were not English or American choirs, or where English was their primary language. There was so many choirs there that we would sit. At one point we were sitting next to, when we were at the St. Paul Hall, we were sitting next to a German choir. We were sitting behind a Portuguese choir. And so it was fun sitting with all these students, and we're all singing the same thing. But then when we would break and have rehearsals and we hear them talking, we're like, they're speaking German. They're speaking either Spanish or Portuguese or who knows what. All these languages were amidst so much diversity in age, because there's students all the way up through 12th grade. So there's high school choirs there too. And we have our fourth grade and up choir. So it was quite an experience for them, a lot for them to take in. We're singing with very experienced choirs. We were singing with some choirs who were in the same boat as we are. We're very new and first time taking this trip together. So some very novice groups. It was a great experience. So much diversity for them to take in. I don't think they really quite understood how much they got to experience with this.
Now you mentioned singing at St. Paul. Mm-hmm. That was St. Paul outside the wall.
So we sang at St. Paul outside the wall.
Which is one of the 4 major basilicas.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Oh, that was an amazing experience. So we sang there with all the American choirs. And oh my goodness, the beauty, the acoustic, from a singer standpoint, the acoustics were amazing. We had multiple directors leading us from different schools who've done this multiple times. So very experienced. So even me as a director, I was like, this is amazing. I really need to absorb all of this and learn from a director standpoint.
Now at St. Paul's, it wasn't just an amazing experience for the youth. You actually had personally an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yes. So it was interesting how this happened. I happened to be in the right place at the right time in the right conversations. It was an almost unexpected experience. And let me explain that. So I had received an email from some of these directors saying, we want to get students involved to lead the Psalms, the communion antiphon. We need flag bearers. We need students. And we're probably going to have to just put students' names in a hat and by luck, draw them. We also are probably going to need help from directors with helping either keep tempo or if anyone wants to direct a song. This was our first experience. I was like, I don't know what I should volunteer for. Like, I'm here to experience the first time.
I'll chaperone the kids and watch.
Yes.
We'll let the people who know what they're doing.
Yes. I was like, but I did put in there. So I nominated a few of our students, like our scouts or some of our students who do serve as cantors within our choirs. They're kind of my primary choristers. I've threw their names in the hat. Unfortunately, none of them had been luckily drawn. But I did also say, I was like, more as an effort to help promote them. I was like, I serve as a cantor at my home parish all the time. I'm very I know we sing the communion antiphons. We sing, our psalms all the time. I'm teaching my students how to be cantors, more so to help highlight them. And the one director who was kind of running that mass, he did respond and he was like, well, become familiar with these two pieces. And so on the train, and this was right before Christmas, or this was right before we were all supposed to be convening. My family and we went to Milan first for a family Christmas in Milan. And so on the train down from Milan to Rome on the 26th, and this is the day everybody's supposed to be traveling to Rome. So it goes to show how close in proximity, time-wise, this is happening. So on December 26th, I'm on the train, and I'm like listening to YouTube videos of these two songs. I'm going through the music on the train and trying to familiarize myself with these two specific Botar songs, which are beautiful, beautiful pieces for the choirs to sing. And we show up to St. Paul outside the wall, and they start preparing to sing these two pieces. These were, in our choir books, we do have a list of like a schedule and what songs are supposed to be sung when. These two pieces were scheduled to be sung later for the audience with the Pope, for the audience with Pope Francis. So we were not expecting to sing these two pieces on this day. But the director is like, okay, now we're going to sing the Miserere. So go ahead and flip over to that. And where's Lizzie? And I'm in the back with my group trying to divide my students into their part sections. I'm like, oh, I'm right here.
Oh, you mean me?
Oh, yeah. He's like, okay, I'm going to have you be the lead cantor on this song. And the choir will, kind of sing what they know. So he calls me up and he's like, you're going to be the lead cantor for this song. And this is the communion hymn that we're singing. Oh, okay. So I'm singing this now. We did one run through before Mass, and most of our families were there. And my husband was out in the congregation. He was like, wait, I know that voice. And so he comes rushing back, and he's like trying to record me in the rehearsal, which is very stop and go. So that was a fun little recording he got. But then, at communion, I'm singing this piece, and the choir's singing what they can. They're singing, and I'm in the microphone. So it's definitely my voice. And everyone in our group is like, wait, that's Lizzie. So it was a very surreal experience. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to top that as far as a singing standpoint. But it felt, and like I said, this is not a boastful experience or recollection of it. I felt honored that I got to represent our school. I got to be an example for my students and showcase what we have and who we are and what we do, and kind of be like, that's like, I'm hoping some of my students were like, that's our director, and represent them and represent our school and community. So it was a very humbling experience.
Well, and even for the students to see their choir teacher cantoring the communion hymn at a major basilica in Rome.
Oh, yeah.
Just sounds like this entire trip was just full of these amazing, memorable experiences.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. The Holy Spirit was definitely guiding us into all the right places, all the right times, with the right people. We have an amazing community at our school. And so it didn't matter who we were with at what particular time. It was always such an enjoyable experience. So, yeah.
And you guys if I remember, you guys were able to celebrate Mass with the Holy Father as well?
Yes, on New Year's Day.
Wow.
So that was really fun. We had, and like I said, Holy Spirit providing, because we did get there early to line. So to get into Vatican, you have to go through security. You have to, like, there's this huge line. It probably wraps around the entire Vatican City because of how long, especially with all these big choirs. Like, you get there early, you line up, you go through like various levels of security before you can even come in, and then you make your way over to St. Peter's, and there were already multiple, like, it was already filling up, but I was walking up and I was like, okay, I just need to find a place for my 13 students and I to sit, and one chaperone to sit. And the one usher takes us up to the second row.
Wow.
And according to my mom, who was there, she was like, there were choirs sitting back with us in the congregation area because there were so many. And I don't know if they just...
So the fact that you had a smaller group actually may have given you access to...
Well, we didn't even have that small of a group compared to... There were some choirs there, like, I say choir loosely because they had like 3 singers with them. And so, like, we had a pretty medium-sized group of students. So, but there just happened to be a row available, and I had 2 of the students with me. The rest were still trying to get in through the security, so I didn't even have my full group with me. And this usher's like, here, I've got exactly 14 chairs in this second row.
Wow.
And I say second row, we're sitting behind all of the priests that were there. We're sitting behind, which is a lot. It was really fun. I turned to the kids. I was like, those are a lot of priests. And I'm trying to be like, because this is very early in the morning, and you could see like some of them are kind of like nodding off, because this was New Year's Day too. So we had stayed up for New Year's Eve celebrations. They had a little party for us at the hotel.
But then this is the Mass for the Feast of Mary, Mother of God. So here we have a major feast day to celebrate Mass with the Holy Father.
Yes.
You would assume there'd be a whole lot of priests and clergy and concelebrants, but then second row behind
all them.
Here's St. Edward Catholic School from Spring, Texas.
Not the first ones in there either. So it's like...
What an amazing experience.
Like I said, the Holy Spirit was providing. So it was awesome.
Lizzie, thank you for sharing this story with us. That's an amazing opportunity.
Yes.
Now, just to confirm, St. Edward is participating in the festival coming up in a couple weeks.
Yes. Here. We've had a few rehearsals already so last year we had 7 students participate. Again, last year was the very first Pueri Cantores event we had participated with. So it was still very unknown, no hype built up yet in our school. This was before even we were planning for Rome, so I didn't even have that to help hype it up. So I had 7 students participate last year in the local festival. Then, and they had a great experience. Some of them came back, and at the end of the year, I was trying to ask, what was your favorite thing we did this year? What do we want to do again next year? What do we need to not do again? And multiple students said the Pueri Cantores Festival at the Cathedral was their favorite. They were enamored by the location, the camaraderie with other schools, getting to, like I said, it was a smaller group. It wasn't the whole choir. So I think they had a sense of exclusivity with that. They felt like they're part of something special, but they're doing something even more special. So some of them really, really, I say some of them, they all really enjoyed it, but some of them said that was their favorite for the year. Well, now this year we're preparing for it, and I have 17 students now joining me this year, and when I started introducing them to the music repertoire, some of it is from some of the music from last year that they've carried over. So it's still some of the same music, some new music, some new old, some repeated. And when I told them, well, we're singing this Ave Maria in Spanish, and we're singing this song and this song, they're like, oh, we love this song. So they're getting excited and they're getting the students who this is their first time doing it. They're getting excited through hearing what the other students have been saying about it. How, because it's a full day.
Yeah.
It's a full day event. And at first I was thinking, oh, this is going to be hard. They've never done a full day event like this before. I'm very experienced in it as a singer. But I was like, this is going to be tough. These are some little, fourth graders, fifth graders, maybe in the first time doing this. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to have to get them through. Mm-hmm. But I think that helps make it a little more fun. They're like, no, this is like, we're here to work. We're here to really hone our skills, because they work with a guest director. And I kind of tell them that too. I was like, so you're not working with me. I'm not your director this time. You get somebody new.
Prepare them for the strange new adult at the front of the room.
Yeah, but it's fun for me as a director, because I get to see how other directors are working with this group of students. And it's from 4th grade through 12th grade. So again, students who are older, more experienced maybe, or more advanced, with some students who may be very novice at being in a choir. There's quite a range of skill and experience in these groups, but I don't think that anybody feels overwhelmed to the point that it's not fun. Yeah. But then for those students who are more advanced, I don't think they feel bored either. And a part of that probably does come from me, the attitude as the director, because I'm telling some of them, I'm like, if you don't know it, if you're not there, just take it in, experience it, don't feel lost or overwhelmed. Like you have to do you have to reach any certain level in a day, but it's definitely challenging for those who are experienced, even myself, I'm like, okay, we're onto this song now. So from a singer standpoint,
So such an amazing music and choir program you have there at St. Edward. Lizzie, thank you for spending your time with us today.
My pleasure.
If people wanted to learn more about St. Edward Catholic School, how can they find out about what you guys are doing there?
So we do have our website, stedwardschool.org, and we've got a lot of great information accessible there, videos, pictures, articles. We are in the middle of enrollment time, so I'm sure there's a lot of people who are willing to answer questions, either from the community or on the staff. If anybody wanted to schedule a tour or call, they could. Our phone number's on the website. They can answer any questions you have, but there's a lot of information on our website. So.
Wonderful. A big thank you to Dr. Dan Girardot from the Office of Worship and Mrs. Lizzie Cook from St. Edward Catholic School in Spring for joining us for this episode. Again, the 2024 Pueri Cantores Houston Youth Choral Festival is coming up on Saturday, March 2nd, and everyone is invited to join us for the closing Mass of that festival. It will take place on Saturday, March 2nd at 5 p.m. at the Co-Cathedral of the Sacred Heart in downtown Houston, with our celebrant, Daniel Cardinal DiNardo. Make sure, if you plan on joining, to arrive early so you can hear the beautiful prelude music that our amazing student choirs will be sharing with us. If you'd like to learn more about Pueri Cantores, you can find information at pcchoirs.org. We'll make sure to put that link, as well as a link to St. Edward Catholic School in Spring, in the show notes for this episode. And as always, if you want to learn more about the ministries and offices of the Archdiocese of Galveston-Houston, you can find us online at archgh.org. That's archgh.org. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you again soon, here on Around the Archdiocese.